Hey everybody, and welcome to Leia's Lair. Here's our review of the Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 12, Victory and Death. So we pick up where we left off with Ahsoka and Rex in the medical bay, and the clones are trying to open the door.
Mm-hmm. And so in this scene, they're kind of discussing Ahsoka wants Rex to stun the clones instead of kill them.
Even though they're trying to kill them.
Yeah, so Rex doesn't understand the plan, but he's just going to go with it. So they bust down the door. Ahsoka Force pushes it out of the way. Then she's able to deflect a bunch of blaster fire, and Rex is able to stun all of them. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, we get Maul, who's causing his ruckus.
As usual.
Yeah, and he makes his way to the hyperdrive, takes out a bunch of clones, and then starts to take down the actual hyperdrive.
Literally destroys the entire hyperdrive.
Mm-hmm. So they got to pull out of hyperspace. The ship is badly damaged. We know that the ship's not going to make it, but they also have already destroyed all the escape pods from before, so that no one could escape.
Mm-hmm. So the ship is now in a crash course with a nearby moon because it's being pulled in by the gravitational force. And in the meantime, Ahsoka and Rex are making their way to the hangar to see if they can find another ship to escape on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in this scene, we get to see all the clones come out once they open the doors. And then Rex and Ahsoka get to share quite an emotional moment. She removes his helmet. He's crying.
Oh, that was so sad.
Yeah. And she reiterates that she doesn't want to kill any of the clones. She tells Rex that he's a good soldier. And she's not going to be the one to kill these clones. No. It's
like they might die, but she won't be the one to kill them.
Mm-hmm. So still has a good moral high ground here. Mm-hmm.
So she comes up with a plan to try and convince the clones that they shouldn't kill Ahsoka because technically she's not a Jedi anymore, which I thought was interesting because last time I kind of thought that maybe Ahsoka would have been spared because technically she wasn't a Jedi anymore. Mm-hmm. But obviously that didn't get mentioned in the previous episode. So when they came up with this plan in this episode, I was like, all right, so this should totally work.
It has a purpose. Yeah, I'm with you there. I thought, they keep putting it into our heads this entire episode that Ahsoka is not a Jedi. So I was like, okay, maybe that's why she won't, get under fire from Order 66, but nope, doesn't make her exempt, or doesn't make Maul exempt either. So Rex is holding Ahsoka with guns. Plan doesn't work, but they have the droids.
Obviously, yeah.
They have the droids to drop them down into the underground hangar bay.
So with 3/4 of the clones now been dropped down in the hangar bay, seems pretty hopeful for Ahsoka and Rex to get to their ship. Mm-hmm. However, at the same time, we see our favorite bad guy Maul reappear, and of course he goes and steals their ship.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect anything less from him.
Nothing. And that's the end of seeing Maul. After that, he's gone for the rest of the episode. So
well, Ahsoka, we get to see Ahsoka's wicked force powers. She tries to hold the ship, and she's actually doing a successful job of it. But then they get overpowered by clones, so then she has to let it go, and yet we see Maul fly off, and then the next time we see him is Rebels. So.
Yeah, totally.
So anyways, they end up having to go underground again to find
another ship.
Yeah, another ship that can at least get them out of here. Again, almost several times they're getting overpowered by clones. So we see, Ahsoka's getting tired. They're inches away from death. But Rex is able to fly away. However, Ahsoka's left floating in the air. She gets to run along the cruiser.
Get to see her use some wild force moves to eventually find herself in Rex's ship.
Mm-hmm. And then we get to see a very, this whole episode's been cinematic. Very cinematic, very emotional. But the ending especially. So we get to see them, after the wreckage on the moon. We get to see the mass grave. Kind of reminds me of the Mandalorian when they have all the sticks and the helmets on top of it.
This was super tragic though, because you have to keep in mind that even though all these clones literally just tried to kill Ahsoka and Rex, they spent the time digging through the wreckage, pulling them out, burying them, and setting up a mass grave for them. Mm-hmm. So the whole scene with the grave and Ahsoka and her ditching her lightsabers, it was just very cinematic, very beautifully done and very just like touching. I don't know. It made me like so sad.
Yeah, it's like it's the end of Clone Wars, guys. So of course it's gonna be a sad, sad day, and we wanted to see how they're gonna do it, and this is how they're doing it. Yeah, and then it gets to skip over to the next scene where the Empire's now landed at this wreckage site.
Seems like some time has passed. It's pretty snowy.
Yeah, it looks like it goes from like being like Tatooine to basically Hoth. So yeah, so we know some time's passed. But it's still a cool scene because we get to see Darth Vader. He's there. He picks up Ahsoka's lightsaber. So he knows it's Ahsoka's lightsaber. He ignites it, you know.
It's very cinematic again.
And we also get to see the owl flying overhead, or Convor, who we actually believe to be Morai, who has ties to the daughter from Mortis.
And she's a symbol. She's like Ahsoka's symbol. Every time in Rebels we see her, we get like an association with Ahsoka. So it kind of gives some sort of like indication, maybe not to Darth Vader, but maybe that even though it looks like Ahsoka might have died in the wreckage, that maybe she's not actually dead.
Yeah. And the ending is just so beautiful. We get to see the series end with it zooming in on one of the clone helmets that's painted in Ahsoka's colors, which is symbolic on a lot of things. You know, it's the end of Clone Wars, end of the clones pretty much, and yeah, just end of Ahsoka's arc here with the clones, and we get to see something so beautiful.
And then again, very cinematic. In the like visor of the helmet, we see Darth Vader walking away. And that's the closing scene. That's the end of Clone Wars. So very touching, very beautiful end to an awesome series. So in terms of ratings, I'm gonna give this episode a 9 out of 10. I really liked the episode. I found it very emotional, very touching, a lot of very like epic scenes. The cinematography was just amazing. I thought they did a really good job. I thought it was a very nice ending to the Clone Wars. However, I would have liked to have seen a few more details in terms of some of the things we see in Rebels, but again, I thought the episode was really great and really just beautifully done. So 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I also really like this episode. I'm going to give it an 8.5. It was very emotional. The cinematography was beautifully done. Just so many emotions going on in this last episode, and especially because it's the ending of not just the season, but Clone Wars in general. You know, there's so many different emotions going on right now. The ending was just so beautifully done, you know, zooming in on the clone helmet with Ahsoka's paintings on it. We get to see Darth Vader. Yeah, just a great episode. We get to see a lot of action-packed scenes with Ahsoka defending and almost several times dying from all the clones shooting at her. So, yeah, great episode. 8.5 out of 10.
And there you have it. Thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think of this episode? Let us know down below in the comment section. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more great videos to come. We hope to see you all again in Leia's Lair.
You are not a Jedi yet.